हेलो एवरीबॉडी एंड वेलकम टू द चैनल। आज हम लोग डिस्कस करने वाले हैं अबाउट अ टॉपिक whose title is when accountability disguises itself as innocence. So sometimes we meet people who appear soft, misunderstood, or unfairly judged. They speak gently, react emotionally, and often position themselves as the sensitive one in the room. On the surface, they seem harmless, but over time, a pattern begins to emerge. One where responsibility quietly shifts away from them and lands on someone else. There are individuals who create confusion rather than clarity. They say things indirectly, hint instead of communicate, and react in extremes, either overly affectionate or suddenly distant. When confronted, they rarely admit fault. Instead, they label the other person as overdramatic or too sensitive or misunderstanding the situation. What makes this dynamic complicated is that they do not appear aggressive. They do not shout. They do not openly attack. In fact, they often look calm and reasonable. But beneath that calmness is subtle manipulation, selective memory, emotional withdrawal as punishment, playing the victim when questioned, and reframing situations to avoid accountability. They might cross boundaries softly by over involving themselves, by asking personal questions under the guise of concern, under the disguise of concern, or by subtly monitoring reactions. And when the other person finally reacts, they step back and say, "See, you're overreacting." This creates a cycle where one person feels confused and defensive, while the other remains a polished image of innocence. They believe they are not being understood, not being seen, not being fully comprehended. But sometimes the issue is not misunderstanding. Sometimes the behavior is seen very clearly. It is simply not being tolerated anymore. They often believe or claim that no one truly understands them. But the truth is, people do understand. The behavior is visible. The emotional positioning is noticeable. The inconsistency is observed. Being quiet does not mean being unaware. Not every claim of being misunderstood is proof of depth. Sometimes it is a shield against accountability. When accountability approaches, emotion suddenly becomes the focus. Tears appear not as reflection but as deflection. Instead of owning the mistake, the situation shifts towards their pain. Crying becomes a shield that redirects responsibility. The conversation stops being about what was done and starts being about how hurt they feel. This emotional reversal makes the other person feel guilty for even raising the issue. Avoiding ownership is easier when vulnerability is performed at the right moment. When confronted, they redirect the entire blame and suggest that you are the problem. Suddenly, you are overthinking, too emotional, melodramatic, or imagining things. They subtly shatter the pot on your head, making it seem as if the chaos was created by you. Your reaction becomes the issue, not their action. They frame your clarity as instability. By labeling you as dramatic, they protect themselves from accountability over time. This makes you question your own perception, isn't it? To an outsider, it may look like a misunderstanding, but to the person experiencing it, it feels like constant psychological imbalance. Dynamics like these are difficult to identify because they are not loud, they are silent. They operate through tone, timing, and emotional positioning. The lesson is not to demonize anybody or anyone, but to recognize when accountability is missing. Healthy relationships allow room for ownership, clarity, and mutual respect. If someone consistently avoids responsibility while questioning yours, the imbalance is not imaginary. It is structural. So, if you have listened this, heard this video till now, thank you very much for joining. And I really hope that it resonated with you. So, thank you very much for joining and listening. God bless you.